Have you guys ever heard of the Disney adult iceberg theory? For some context, the iceberg theory is a model of an iceberg which displays the different levels of human consciousness. The surface of the iceberg carries the most conscious and normal individuals. And as you go deeper and become submerged in water, you lose consciousness, aka you become more deranged. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this relate to Disney adults?
In the Disney adult iceberg theory, the surface of the iceberg has what most Disney fans classify themselves as. In this tier, there are the most casual fans of Disney. For example, they may have watched and enjoyed the films growing up, which probably includes most of us. As you go deeper through the surface, the second tier becomes more intense. This tier includes people who watched every single Disney movie. They attend the parks every few years and may own a pair of Mickey Mouse ears, but doesn't really wear them. Now I know this is already sounding pretty intense. However, everything I just stated was just on the surface of the iceberg. It's only then, after submerging yourself deeper and deeper within the chilled depths of this ice mound, that you truly become privy to how diluted some of these people can actually get.
The third tier is the first tier that is underwater. You will notice that from here on out, the Disney adults will become to sound more frightening. This tier includes adults that attend the park as much as possible, have at least one Disney-themed tattoo, and may even own an entire Instagram account dedicated towards the franchise. The fourth tier consists of die-hard Disney fans. They probably cosplay in their free time and Disney-bound at the parks. For those of you who are a little confused, Disney-bounding will be explained later in the podcast, so just be patient. The fifth tier includes fans who have had a Disney-themed wedding and honeymoon, and they spend every anniversary at the parks but don't have any kids. And the last and most terrifying tier consists of fans who are completely consumed by Disney. They live on the Disney property, they go to the parks every single day, and they live to serve their merciless god Mickey Mouse.
There has been a large debate regarding the varying characteristics of these Disney adults. Is it completely healthy and normal to consume media created for children, or is it actually harmful to the adult? In this podcast, we'll be diving into these different perspectives. We will examine whether being a Disney fanatic is healthy or unhealthy, or if it's simply just both. This podcast will play a lot into the good cop and bad cop method, with one of our perspectives looking at the positives while the other the negatives. The last section will include a sort of middle ground between the two very antithetical perspectives.
This is Disney adults. The good,
Minuscule,
the bad,
majority of this episode,
and the ugly.
Can we be mean?
This podcast is brought to you by AudioChuck. Full show notes and our script will be located online at our website, www.imnosy.com.
Mom, can I have a popsicle?
No, honey, you'll spoil your...
Hey parents, tired of those out-of-control kids? Throwing embarrassing tantrums wherever they go. At the grocery store, on the playground, even at the dinner table. You've had it with parenting, but wait, there is a solution. Introducing Nap Time, the latest, most effective tool for child tantrum prevention. It's simple. Just douse a rag with our patented Sleepy Time formula, place it over your child's cry hole, press and hold gently for 8 to 12 seconds, and presto, no more tantrum.
I was beginning to think adoption was the only way out. Then a friend of mine introduced me to Nap Time. It's never been so quiet around here.
The secret lies in Naptime's revolutionary fast-to-sleep formula. Developed by military-trained scientist doctors from NASA, Naptime's powerful molecules rush to the child's brain on contact, gently inducing instant tranquility.
This is chloroform.
Already put those wallet-draining crap factories out on the street? That's okay! Naptime works in any situation. On the golf course. An awkward blind date.
I had a really good time tonight.
It even works on pets.
After we had our first child here, we regretted it almost immediately.
We didn't know that she'd cry so much.
Talk about defective. But thanks to Nap Time, our little Samantha here hasn't made a noise in weeks. I keep her in a shoebox.
Call now and we'll send you your very own 24-ounce bottle of Naptime solution for only 23 easy payments of $1.99. But wait, there's more! Act quickly and you'll also receive the all-new Dream Sack absolutely free. It's compact and portable for those on-the-go tantrums. Just cover it, tighten it, and forget about it. It's that simple.
We can't breathe good.
So if this looks familiar,
I feel pregnant.
then don't wait! Order today and join the millions of Americans who just can't stop saying,
Thanks, nap time.
Thanks, nap time!
Thanks, nap time.
Nap time! When they just won't shut up. Nap time is not legal in the following states.
I think they're kind of weird. I feel like Disney should only be for kids, but I don't really mind them.
Disney stories are anything but childish. I mean, if you think about the message that's being sent in any one of these stories, these are the kinds of things we can learn at any age.
Those are all interviews with teachers and students from Blaine High School. Each had a different perspective regarding how they viewed the Disney fanatics. I have personally always enjoyed watching cartoons and kids shows, even as a teenager, and in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. If watching cartoons made for kids brings you joy, then you should continue to do it. And after doing some research, I discovered that watching the kids shows can have some positive effects on your mental health and well-being as well. Many therapists and mental health professionals argue this could be a healthy coping mechanism. Psychotherapist Dr. Laurel Steinberg agrees that watching cartoons made for kids is a good way to cope with mental health issues. She says these cartoons, quote, can help restore optimism and give someone a break from worrying or feeling sad, all of which can help elevate your mood, unquote. These adults are not hurting anyone by enjoying these shows, and many of them argue that they enjoy Disney simply because it makes them happy. One Disney adult from Seattle defined the nickname in her own words, stating, Disney adults are people who embrace the magic of Disney and don't care what others think because their happiness is what matters. Most Disney adults would classify themselves into this category, claiming to be fans of the franchise who simply enjoy it and don't care if others think that they're weird or immature because of it. In my opinion, I don't think these types of fans should be looked down upon. They are simply embracing something that brings them joy and not caring what other people think. But of course, in every fandom, there's going to be the extreme people.
Also, may I add, the whole Disney adult discussion reminds me of Potterheads. Although being a fan of Harry Potter as an adult, to me at least, is pretty normal compared to Disney adults, but I feel like some people take it a little extreme. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like back in 2017, 2018, adult Potterheads were like getting Deathly Hollow tattoos on their body, and it was just like kind of weird.
Yeah, I feel like there will always be people who take their hobby or interest to the extreme, but that doesn't necessarily mean everyone part of that fandom is like that.
Yeah, and most people who use the term Disney adult use it in a negative way, and I think the reason Disney adults became so hated is because of the extreme fans. Like the ones that borderline live in the Disney parks, have seen every movie multiple times. Those can be very obsessive to the point it gets kind of creepy. But none of the fans, or more of the fans, are just ones that simply enjoy Disney as it's something that reminds them of their childhood and brings them joy or a temporary distraction into their life. These people aren't hurting anyone, and I don't believe they should be looked down on because of some small innocent thing that they enjoy. I have met many Disney adults who enjoy Disney more than the usual person, and all of them have been very kind and reasonable people. One girl I work with, for example, has worked at the Disney parks and enjoys the Disney franchise. However, she isn't annoying about it like how people claim. She doesn't constantly talk about Disney and isn't so obsessed with it that it's borderline creepy like many people say. I think people may be overreacting when they're hating on Disney adults. It's normal for someone to want to talk about something that they enjoy from time to time, even if it's not necessarily socially acceptable. By enjoying Disney, these adults are managing to find an escape from the stress of reality, just as all of us need a way to do. And I think as long as they're not hurting anyone or themselves, they should not be judged or looked at differently because of something that they're passionate about. And now here are some interviews from people who have a quite positive outlook of Disney adults.
I think Disney targets or advertises to people of all ages.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Disney is literally like the best in the world. Many people say that like it's only good for kids and stuff like that, but I feel like it's for everyone. Like everyone could love Disney all they want, and we're in America. We have our own rights and freedoms for what we love. Have you ever been to Disney World? Disney World was just a mind-blowing experience, and I don't think anything else can match up to it. Thank you.
Hi, I think a lot of people hate on people that, like, elders that like Disney, but I think that it's beautiful that they still enjoy things that are aimed towards children. I think Disney is for everyone, and I think we can all kind of just enjoy that type of stuff, and it's really, really nice when they enjoy it with their kids or with their nephews or just any child that, you know, might be interested. I think it's just a nice hobby to share. And it's a nice way to get away from stuff like taxes and like the real world stuff.
Now that we've explored the reasons on why being a Disney fanatic is actually healthy for an adult, this section of the podcast will dive into the reasons on why it isn't. Every year, we lose promising, working-class adults to the horrors of Mickey Mouse and his destitute legion of thugs.
That one person who don't play about Disney adults.
Well, yes, but I understand that sounds extreme. However, Disney adults tend to cross a metaphorical line when it comes to their outright preposterous behavior. It's difficult to excuse their interest as something inherently innocent when several 130-plus-year-olds were mourning the loss of the Splash Mountain ride like they had heard news that their great-aunt was dying due to liver cancer. Although, I'm fairly certain that some of them would not be too sad to hear about that great-aunt if she had left them with a sizable sum of money that they could use to inflate Disney's already large pockets. And that is the most rage-inducing problem when it comes to these folks. Their sheer lack of responsibility when it comes to anything outside of the parks is baffling, and the actions of these Disney adults tend to show that they are very far removed from reality. From purchasing every Disney-related film, to religiously visiting the parks, to even attempting to give birth there, Disney adults have taken their hobby to the extreme, and it is completely unhealthy.
I feel like that was a little strong, Amira.
My bad, but I feel like Disney adults are just so weird. Like, for example, in the year 2020, Disney banned the phenomenon known as Disney bounding, which is the act of adults attending the parks in full cosplay of the characters from the Disney films. The reason for this was because Disney did not want to be liable for how badly some of these character-adorned adults treated fellow patrons, people who paid just as much to experience the magic of the parks as them. In an article regarding Disney banning adults from dressing up as characters, Kristen Acuna states, quote, "The company wants to maintain the magical experience for parkgoers, especially children, throughout their visit. A customed non-employee who is not a representative of the brand may be mistaken as a Disney employee, harming Disney's image. Disney wants no adults in costumes for the safety of children visiting the parks and the safety of their own reputation." End quote. Like, Noelle, the fact that Disney had to take action against these obsessed fans is genuinely absurd. Do you not agree?
I mean, I get that, and I do agree. It's just a little weird, but technically these adults aren't really hurting anyone by Disney bounding.
Well, if that didn't convince you, there is another instance where Disney adults crossed the line, which was when pregnant women flocked to Disney parks to give birth there. The reason for this was a result of a rumor circulating among many Disney fans. The rumor was that if you happened to give birth at the Disney parks, you and your child would be eligible to receive unlimited lifetime passes for the parks. This motivated many pregnant women to enter the parks while in labor, in hopes to give birth there. Regarding this phenomena of pregnant women attempting to give birth at Disney parks, the article, "Does Giving Birth at Disney Give You a Lifetime Pass?" states an example of this happening. Quote, "There have been many reports of fans before who have given birth at Disney parks, with the first ever birth being recorded at Disney Resort being that of Teresa Salcido at the Disneyland Resort of on July 6, 1979, end quote. And to your argument that they're not hurting anyone with their actions, unfortunately, that would be false. Their attempt to give birth there at the parks is not only affecting the staff who are completely untrained to deliver a baby, but their carelessness could also affect that baby's health. It's not just these actions of these Disney-crazed fans that is absurd. It's the sheer concept. I mean, from their own experience, no matter how many times a week they've attended the same few attractions and stood in line for the same 7 or 8 rides, all of that takes precedence over the very real, very human people they occupy, the very space they terrorize. And it's not that type of attitude that you can just write off as being rude and entitled. I mean, you have fully grown adults buzzing in line in front of kids to meet Elsa and Anna ahead of some children who couldn't be over the age of 6. That is not normal, nor is that healthy for an adult. Not to mention how expensive it is to be a Disney adult. This is mainly due to overconsumption being normalized within the Disney adult community. Disney has even taken it upon themselves to create neighborhoods near the Disney parks for these obsessed fans to live in. According to the official Disney Golden Oaks website, each house retails for around $10 million. This isn't even including the fees to visit the parks, which Disney adults do every month. Being a Disney adult is very taxing, from buying merch to visiting the parks, and over time that money adds up. Especially in this economy, a lot of these adults don't have the money to be leisurely spending on Disney products. Overall, the action and behavior of these Disney fanatics is absolutely unhealthy, both for the adults and their surrounding peers. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. Here are some interviews from people who also share the same perspective as me.
I think Disney adults are actually kind of, pardon my language, they're really funky. Like, you as an adult, you're pushing 40. Why aren't you at your job? How are you at this park every single day? There is a level to how obsessed you can be with something. You know, you gotta live your life. Even the idea of calling themselves a Disney adult, just be an adult. Like, why do you have to have a brand name with you? I think it's something maybe not to be ashamed of, actually. 'Cause get a job. I don't know. You have too much free time.
I think about Disney adults, grow up. That's what I think. I think you're too grown to be liking children movies and children characters like that. Like, why are you so invested in a child's fairy tale? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I think you need to grow up. Sorry, that sounds mean, but it's true. It's true. You're too grown for that. You're too grown. But I think, like, find other hobbies, like focus on taxes and your job, you know, and maybe working on this world instead of Cinderella. How about, you know, trying to figure out how to pay for your own shoes instead of figuring out on Cinderella's shoes. So, yeah.
Well, I don't really have many thoughts on Disney adults. I don't think about it often. But, like, people going to, like, just people in general going to Disney World or Disneyland all the time, like, once a year, it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, that's a lot of money for the same thing again and again. I get doing it once, but it feels obsessive and just wasteful to do that. You know, you could be doing so much with your time. I don't think I've got anything else to say about that.
At the heart of the Disney adult community lies a tapestry of connections forged through shared experiences and a deep appreciation for Disney's storytelling magic. Throughout many generations, the Walt Disney Company has been an integral part of childhood. However, what happens when that love from infancy carries over into adulthood? Discover the fascinating realm of Disney adults, a varied group of people bound together by their strong love for the company. This movement has two opposing effects. It promotes thriving communities and artistic expression, but also raises issues with unhealthy escapism and financial hardship.
Personally, I feel like Disney adults need to worry about that bank account rather than what Mickey Mouse is doing in his clubhouse. But that's just me.
Well, Amira, Disney adults are more than just consumers. They're involved members of a thriving community. Online communities, cosplay clubs, and themed events provide venues for self-expression, connection, and shared joy. Whether constructing elaborate Disney-themed costumes or having animated debates about loved movies, this common interest cultivates a feeling of community and belonging. Moreover, this interest stimulates artistic creativity. Fan art, music, and even food creations are inspired by Disney's rich history and adored characters. This kind of artistic expression enables people to connect with the brand more deeply. Disney adults make a huge economic contribution in addition to their personal fulfillment. Each year, visits to theme parks, purchases of merchandise, and usage of Disney media platforms bring in billions of dollars. Through Disney-affiliated organizations, this economic effect sponsors charity endeavors, helps local companies, and provides jobs. In addition, the community actively participates in social causes and philanthropy. A lot of people plan fundraising activities or donate their time to assist nonprofits that share Disney's beliefs. Furthermore, themed events often incorporate elements of nostalgia, transporting attendees back to cherished childhood memories and creating a sense of nostalgia and wonder. Whether it's recreating iconic scenes from classic Disney films or bringing beloved characters to life through cosplay-themed events, offer enthusiasts an opportunity to relive the magic of Disney and create new memories with friends and family. Through cosplay, fan art, and themed events, Disney adults come together to celebrate their shared love for Disney's iconic characters and stories, forging connections and creating lasting memories in the process. As they continue to explore new and innovative ways to express their creativity and celebrate their love for Disney, enthusiasts contribute to a rich and vibrant cultural landscape that honors the timeless appeal of Disney's storytelling legacy. The unwavering devotion to Disney while bringing joy to many can also result in various dangers and negative consequences. Financial strain is a significant issue, as overspending on Disney merchandise, travel, and leisure activities can burden individuals, particularly those with low incomes, leading to a debt trap situation. This financial stress can heighten anxiety and stress levels, impacting personal well-being. Moreover, relying excessively on Disney as a means of escape from reality may hinder personal growth and prevent individuals from effectively managing the challenges of everyday life. The perpetual fantasy promoted by Disney can lead to a disconnection from reality, exacerbating mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Additionally, the company's portrayal of cultures and communities, despite its advertised commitment to diversity, has been criticized for perpetuating stereotypes and cultural appropriation, contributing to a shallow understanding of diverse identities. Furthermore, Disney's extensive merchandising and marketing campaigns promote consumerism and materialism, potentially normalizing unsustainable patterns of consumption and waste. Concerns also extend to Disney's labor practices and its control over information and narratives, raising ethical questions about its commitment to fair labor practices and freedom of expression. While Disney undoubtedly brings entertainment and joy to millions, it's crucial to critically examine its broader societal impacts and consider the ethical and social implications of its cultural influence. Walt Disney's massive marketing campaigns and retailing have normalized consumerism, which has wider societal repercussions than only financial burden and mental health issues. In addition to aggravating environmental problems like pollution and resource depletion, the promotion of materialism as a means of achieving happiness can lead to a culture of excessive consumption and waste. Going back to what Amira said earlier, according to the official Golden Oak website, each Disney themed house retails for around, quote, $10 million, end quote. This also raises questions about censorship and the repression of other voices and perspectives because of Disney's influence over information and narratives, which extends beyond entertainment into news media and publishing, with the potential to restrict variety of thought and stifle critical conversation. This control over information can influence public opinion and discourse in ways that serve Disney's business interests. It is important to keep in mind that Disney adults are not a uniform group. Their financial circumstances, degrees of involvement, and goals differ greatly. It is unjust and wrong to judge the entire community based on the extremes. In the end, having fun with Disney as an adult demands self-control and moderation, By being aware of the potential dangers, people can navigate the community in a healthy manner, minimizing the risks and maximizing the benefits. A challenging and intriguing paradox is presented by the Disney adult phenomena. It's a community driven by a passion that promotes relationships, innovation, and even social and economic progress. It is not without its drawbacks, though, which can include unhealthy escapism and financial stress. People can fully experience the enchantment of Disney while keeping their feet firmly planted in reality through understanding both sides of the issue and acting appropriately in the community. And again, here are some interviews from people who have a neutral standpoint regarding Disney adults.
I don't really have an opinion about Disney adults. I feel like people should just be able to do what they enjoy. It's not hurting anyone by being a Disney adult. They just go to Disney World or Disneyland, buy their merch or whatever, and like I feel like everyone has their things that they enjoy. Like there are other things that I think that older people enjoy that we don't find weird. So why should we find this weird? And like they're just connecting with their childhood. Like I don't find any harm in that. They're being nostalgic, reminiscing. And yeah.
I feel like Disney adults are, in my opinion, alright. Like, I don't see anything necessarily bad about them, but nothing too good about them comes to mind. Like, I feel like they should be allowed to express themselves if they're going to Disney. It's kind of their choice. They're doing whatever they want with their money, and it's kind of their option on how they're going to spend it. Like, you can't just go up to an adult and tell them, oh, you can't go to Disney. Like, that's their money. Who are you to tell them what to do? But on the other hand, some of them do go a bit too far, so I'm more neutral for this.
Each of the perspectives we explored in this podcast actually reflects our personal views about Disney adults. I believe it is acceptable to a certain point, but most of the adults have a serious problem and need to face reality.
And I think the entire concept of Disney adults is just fucking weird.
And to be honest, I couldn't care less about them. This is somewhat off topic, but I had noticed from the interviews we had conducted that the people who stated a positive outlook of the Disney-obsessed fans, they were mainly adults, whereas the people who thought they were weird were mainly young students.
Yeah, I had noticed that as well, which I guess is kind of fitting.
I also agree. But also going back to the reason on why we chose this topic, I chose this topic because of an essay I did last trimester of English. In the class, we were tasked to write an essay with like a topic of 3 different perspectives on it. I immediately thought of Disney adults because of how controversial they're treated on social media.
Yeah, well, I'm honestly not too well versed of the Disney adult realm. The first time I had ever even heard of the term was from a YouTube video by Curtis Connor. In the video, he explained the varying characteristics of these Disney-craved fans and how they're kind of weird. Now Noel will discuss how Disney adults came about and specifically how this phenomenon rose in recent years.
If you search up the term Disney adult on Google, you will see that the term Disney adult rose from around the mid-2010s all the way through current day, in which it continues to rise. As explained earlier in this podcast, a Disney adult is typically a millennial who doesn't have any children.
Also, may I add that millennials in recent years have been catching a lot of strays. I mean, from being obsessed with Harry Potter and Ray Dunn, which for those of you normal folk who don't know what it is, it's a pottery company that makes their stuff with a font that's like really skinny. Regardless, if I was a millennial, I honestly would just quit.
Thanks, Amira, for that unnecessary tangent.
My bad.
Continuing on, millennials were kind of the ones to make the term Disney adult into a laughingstock or like a punching bag for netizens. The reasons for this was a result of millennials not really understanding the concept of having just a hobby and not a complete obsession. And also the rise of the internet. The internet makes it easier for these adults to create a community filled with their peers who enjoy the same things as them.
Throughout the duration of this podcast, we dove into the world of Disney adults. From your average fan to absolute obsession, we discussed the effects of watching these children-oriented shows and how it can impact your mental health and well-being in both positive and negative ways.
We gave examples of just how out of hand these obsessions can become and discussed different opinions people have on these obsessed individuals. I know that was a lot of information to digest, but I'm going to end it here by asking a question. What are your guys' thoughts on Disney adults?
Make sure to share your thoughts on our website, and don't forget to leave a review on our podcast and sign up for more upcoming episodes to hear about other problems happening in our community.
Bye!